A barber shop in Plymouth, a car wash in Crawley, a vape store in Brixton. These were among more than 2,500 so-called dodgy businesses that have been raided over 4 weeks. The last time the National Crime Agency directed an operation like this, around 400 businesses were raided. The team behind it say they've made a serious dent in cleaning up the high street, but they admitted there is still more work to be done. Fake AirPods, chargers, vapes and Labubu dolls have been bagged up and destroyed. Millions of pounds of cash has been seized, and almost 1,000 arrests have been made. Sal Melki is Deputy Director for Economic Crime at the National Crime Agency.
Over the month, we've galvanised a whole system response, so ourselves, working with police, trading standards, HMRC, immigration enforcing things. And we've visited or raided over 2,700 sites over this month of action. And that generated over 920 arrests. We've seized over £4 million of cash. And we've also taken £6.7 million of criminal value off the street, so in terms of restraint. So that's things like high-value watches, houses, vehicles that we've linked to criminality.
Every police force in the UK was involved in this operation, and LBC joined teams throughout the month. In Plymouth, we watched as sniffer dogs and trading standards identified counterfeit goods in a mini-market.
Devon and Cornwall are taking part in this operation, and it's a national operation which is ongoing, and it is led by the National Crime Agency. So the community are aware that these types of offences are happening in our high streets, and I think the visible display of us attending in company with other agencies such as our trade and standards partners, HMIC, we've got the fire officers with us today as well doing some health and safety checks. I think it sends a real clear message to the community that we are listening to their concerns and we are acting on them, and we do want to protect the vulnerable people and to promote safer businesses.
In Crawley, the government's Immigration Minister Mike Tapp got involved at a car wash where a man was found to be working illegally.
This is essentially visiting intelligence-led visits to companies that are operating that could be employing illegal workers and money laundering as well. Now these have increased by around 50% over the last 12 months because we're coming down hard on illegal employment to rip away one of those pull factors, which means people are coming to the country. So we're going to keep going on this operation and on these efforts to ensure that British workers aren't being undercut.
This store is one of 6 that's being searched by police and trading standards teams all at the same time within a very small area of Brixton. This is Atlantic Road, and they're all shops that sell vapes and mobile products. They're suspected of selling some counterfeit goods, and so teams are seizing those goods as we speak. And this is part of a national effort to clean up the high street, to remove some of those businesses that are suspected of taking part in criminal activity.
So far we've found chargers, counterfeit Apple goods, watches, AirPods by the bag load, and we've also found some counterfeit vapes, which is quite concerning because I have absolutely no idea what people are inhaling from that.
What sort of risk does that pose?
A significant risk to public health. I mean, the chargers have been independently electrically tested by Apple in the past and found a very, very, very high failure rates and with failures that cause injuries, so melting, causing electrocution and fires.
For some of the businesses, it wasn't the first time police had been there.
This is not the first time we've been to these premises, and this will be, for some of the premises, this will be the 3rd visit this year.
So, that being the case then, how do you make sure that they don't just fill the gaps on the shelves that you've emptied today?
And that's what we have seen in the past. To ensure that that doesn't happen, I will be working hard to ensure that the people inside the premises are prosecuted. We're working in partnership with the local authority, and the trading standards officers will be looking to prosecute, and I will be doing everything I can to try and shut these businesses down to make way for legitimate businesses to take their place.
This was the biggest coordinated action ever taken against high street businesses, and Sal Melki from the NCA told me he thinks communities will see a difference.
What's your advice for the public if they think they've got dodgy shops on their high street?
Yeah, so the best advice is if you suspect criminality, report it to your local police force. It's really important to remember that the overwhelming majority of shops on the high street are not considered suspicious or criminal. But if you suspect it's suspicious, then it may be. Also, don't be part of the problem. So that includes if you're buying a product, say tobacco product or a vape product, and it feels suspiciously cheap, that might be because it's smuggled in or harmful. don't be part of the problem. That, you may think it's a small amount of tobacco, but actually that's funding broader criminality that leads to things like serious violence and drug supply in our communities.